For months, Senate Democrats have said Trump's Iran war blunder can't end soon enough. We've been told dozens of times that this war is over. Dozens of times that proved to be a lie. We are the winner. We won. Trump, April. The operation is over. Rubio, May. The war is over. Rubio, June. They keep saying it, but it doesn't happen. Now, it's been 2 days since Trump claimed he had reached a peace deal, quote unquote, with Iran, but he still hasn't released any details at all of this so-called deal. The American people need this war to end. That's why Senate Democrats will, for the 9th time, force a vote on a war powers resolution to end Trump's war. Every minute this blunder goes on is another minute too long. It's one of the worst blunders, foreign policy blunders, any president has ever made in the history of the United States. I'm also calling on 3 things from the Trump administration. First, I'm calling on Trump to hold a Gang of 8 meeting on what is in this so-called deal. That, of course, is classified. Second, I'm calling on Trump to brief the whole Congress. All senators deserve answers. And third, I'm calling on Trump to immediately tell the American people on whatever is in his so-called deal. He needs to stop keeping America in the dark. After more than 100 days of bloodshed, 13 Americans killed, hundreds more wounded, tens of billions of dollars spent, what exactly did we get out of Trump's failed war? Well, the Iran regime is more extreme now, as extreme as they were before. They're more extreme now. The Iran regime is more extreme now than they were before he started his war. Iran has more control of the Strait of Hormuz than it was before he started his war. Gasoline prices are much higher than before he started his war, and Americans are still footing the bill. Trump needs to explain his so-called deal and end this war once and for all. On the slush fund, Trump's slush fund and IRS sweetheart deal is one of the most depraved, corrupt, obscene schemes I've ever seen. It's unbelievable that Republicans refuse to outlaw this corruption. If they can't outlaw this, after Republicans voted down every attempt to rein in this corruption a couple of weeks ago, we gave them another chance. I gave them a chance today to show who they stand for, American taxpayers or Donald Trump, working families or cop beaters. After months of fake outrage on Trump's slush fund and sweetheart IRS deals, after calling it, quote, morally wrong, quote, absurd, quote, stupid on stilts, Republicans blocked it. All they had to do was let our resolution go through, and we were on the path to passing a law that said Trump could never do this. But Republicans once again refused to outlaw Trump's insurrectionist slush fund and tax fraud scheme. So anyone who thinks Trump is at all serious or has any intention of dropping his plans for a MAGA slush fund that would funnel billions of taxpayer dollars to his buddies, his cronies, cop beaters, criminals, hasn't been paying attention, hasn't been listening to what Trump says, hasn't understood that he lies at will. It's almost his MO to lie. Over and over again, we're going to force Trump to answer for over and over again, we're going to force Republicans to answer for Trump's slush fund, the IRS sweetheart deal. We're going to keep putting them on record. Republicans will not be able to wash their hands of Trump's effort to defraud the American people at a time when they're struggling to make ends meet. Senator Schatz.
On the so-called MOU, I just have one basic question, which is, if this deal is so good, why can't the public see it? Even without all the details, here's what we do know. Donald Trump hasn't made anything materially better. Things have gotten worse. 13 service members dead. 3,000 Iranians killed. tens of billions of dollars, maybe hundreds of billions of dollars in 3 months. And prices spiked everywhere: gasoline, utilities, fertilizer, groceries. Everything is more expensive. And despite all of that, none of Donald Trump's original objectives have been met. He wanted to annihilate Iran's military capabilities, and that has not happened. He wanted to abolish their nuclear ambitions, and that has not happened. Any agreement on nuclear weapons still needs to be negotiated and is very unlikely to be better than the original deal under President Obama. He wanted unconditional surrender from the Iranian regime, and that certainly has not happened. They're still there, they're more radical, and they are more emboldened. He wanted to liberate the Iranian people, and that has not happened either. There is a reason they are not publishing this deal, and it's because it makes plain that this is one of the biggest foreign policy blunders in many generations.
And Senator Murphy.
Thank you, Leader Schumer. Let's talk about the cost of this war. American consumers are paying billions more in gas prices. There are families right now that are deciding whether they're going to be able to afford to send their kid to a summer program or fill their gas tank. We've had a dramatic spike in the number of farms who are declaring bankruptcy. Why? Because diesel prices have gone up by 50%. And America's reputation around the world is shattered. This has been a humiliating 100 days for the United States. Brian is right. The president doesn't want you to see this agreement because it is essentially a report card on what a disaster this war has been. It does bear repeating that none of Donald Trump's objectives have been achieved, and they're not even close to being achieved. Reportedly, Iran still has 70% of their missiles after a $60 billion bombing campaign. The Ayatollah is gone, but the regime now is more radical and more capable. The regime has proved that they can take America's best shot and survive. They have proved that they can control the Strait of Hormuz. And while no one has seen this agreement, and there is still some doubt that it will even actually materialize, it appears at the foundation to be a payment to Iran to open the strait. The numbers are fuzzy, but it looks as if there will be significant sanctions relief given to Iran so that they open the strait. Now, that is an abomination in and of itself, but it basically renders the future nuclear negotiations a failure in advance. Because if you have given up all your leverage just to open the strait, you have nothing left to try to get them to come to the table on their nuclear program. This has been an epic disaster for the American people. This war has been an epic disaster for American national security. America is weaker today because of this war. Iran is stronger. And while we want it to end, this agreement will be proof positive to the American people of what an absolute dumpster fire this war has been from start to finish.
Thank you. Questions? Go ahead, Burgess. Burgess.
Good afternoon.
No. Your name is not Burgess. Burgess.
Will Democrats allow Jay Clayton to be confirmed this week after his hearing?
We are all awaiting the hearing, and we'll make some decisions after that. Go ahead now. You can get a chance,
Thank
even though your name is not
No,
Burgess.
it's Chad.
I know it's Chad.
Very good. Thank you.
Where's Jeremy?
On Chad and Jeremy,
Yes.
they're back in the 60s.
The old singing group.
On Jay Clayton, Leader Thune says that he's qualified to be the DNI because he was the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and they deal with terrorism. Is that enough of a qualification for somebody?
We're waiting for the hearing.
But that's your area. Is that enough?
Thank you. A question on a couple of Senate races happening around the country. In Michigan, who are you supporting in the Democratic primary? And in Maine, do you remain confident that Graham Butler can win?
In Michigan, I'm supporting Haley Stevens. And in Maine, we are going to beat Susan Collins and take back the Senate. Yes.
What are you looking for in tomorrow's hearing from Jay Clayton?
Well,
Given the fact that
Look, you can ask any Democrat. There are lots of questions about Clayton that have to be answered.
Leader Schumer.
Yes.
The appropriations process right now is stuck because of lack of a deal on top line number. What do Democrats need to reach a deal on the top line, and can you rule out a shutdown in October?
Well, first and foremost, we need Susan Collins to sit down in good faith with Patty Murray and come up with a top line. She has refused to do so. That's why the negotiations are stalled. That's why she's had to delay it 3 weeks in a row. Yes.
Leader Schumer, why is the Senate voting today on a new war powers resolution rather than the one that advanced last month?
Okay, the one that advanced last month was a motion to discharge, and it's now on the floor ready for a motion to proceed. The resolution that Tim Kaine had, that Warnock has, is another motion to discharge. So one is a step ahead of the other, and we want to make sure all the votes are there before we move the Kaine resolution further. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Let me just say, it's up to Republicans. We're trying to get a few more Republicans to vote for the Kaine resolution so we can move forward. We're one short right now.